Good evening. As we discussed yesterday, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. We want all the good things. So good evening. As I said yesterday, it's a good reminder. May you always be happy. May there be peace, goodness. That is what we should think and that is what we should express. Shantideva, in his famous classic text on ethics, engaging the Bodhisattva way of life, right in the beginning he mentions that life is short. There are too many things to know. We do not know the actual span of our life. So just as the swans extract milk from water, you should take those which you really need. What a statement. Life is short, which is true. Life is number one short, and number two already we had spent a big part of that short life already. And there are too many things to know, particularly in today's world. When you have finished learning one thing, somebody had invented something else for you to learn, given different names. And we spend a lot of time struggling to understand what somebody has invented. We call it education. And today, with this digital age, we are bombarded. Dini ya tungba doa des, ya pena dini tungba mangut. So in this digital age, we are bombarded by information. And we proudly call this age of information. Proudly call this age of information. But Shantideva says, life is short, there are too many things to know and you cannot hope to know everything. And there is no need to know everything. There is no need to know everything. So therefore it is important to be selective. It's really important to be selective. Dini yape, dini ya tungba mangut. Dini yape na tungba mangut. Or dini yape. So this advice by Shantideva is extremely pertinent. Life is short. There are too many things to know. And we cannot hope to know everything. And it is not also necessary to know everything. But there are certain things which we must know. So therefore he said that those that you really need, you must select them, you must cultivate them. So this kind of verses, in fact the whole book by Shantideva, each verse is very, very telling. Each verse is full of meaning for reflection. So even if you memorize just one verse like this one, life is short. Sende yuntung, shije nambama, seye seja, chizami hebe, ngangbe chuleo, amalembatar, rangi deba tangwe lamarcha. So what do you think is the most important thing that we must have in our life? From my perspective, I think you can learn science, you can learn mathematics, you can learn psychology, you can learn philosophy, you can learn law, so many things you can learn. You need that for survival, to earn something. You need those things. But there's one very important basic thing which you must have. That is proper mental attitude, proper mental outlook. I call that the lifeline for our existence. I call that the national highway. The other subjects that you study are almost like, small side tracks. But there is a national highway which you should not forget. So therefore, if you have that basic proper mental outlook, then all those subjects, knowledges that you learn will fit into their respective place properly, and they will all become ornaments, they will all become useful if your basic mental attitude is correct and right. So that is what is being taught in Buddhism, cultivating a proper mental outlook. Cultivating proper mental outlook basically means you should be a person with a lot of knowledge, education, wisdom, and that must be supported by a compassionate heart, Thabdan Shirab as we call it. These two must be there, because if you don't have the knowledge, you will not know what to do. That's why we need to learn all types of skills, get all kind of education and so forth. But even after so much education, as we see today in the world, people have a lot of information, lot of education. But unfortunately, much of the information people have is actually junk information. Junk information. And the Buddha in one of his sutras clearly says, don't make your mind a dustbin. Your mind is not a dustbin. If you keep on uploading, feeding your mind with all this junk information, you are not respecting yourself. You are making your mind a dustbin. You see? Through internet we get all kind of junk information. And people keep on preening to the screen. People keep on kind of glued to the computer screen, screening everything. Who says what is this, what is that, which may have no relevance at all to one's life. Spend so much time. In ancient times, elderly Tibetans, they recite mantra Om Mani Padme Hum with these fingers. Nowadays you use your iPad and then look at your Facebook, whatever you see. So therefore what I'm really saying is, I'm not saying that you should all become monks and nuns, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, even more important than becoming monks and nuns is cultivating a proper mental outlook. And to be able to make good judgment for yourself, for your long-term happiness and for the happiness of many other people. So you can use your common sense and find that out, which one is most useful. And Shantideva in his Bodhicharya Avatara, he says that the Buddhas, countless Buddhas of countless eons, reflected, meditated and thought, what is it that is most useful for everybody? Not one Buddha, not two Buddhas. Countless Buddhas, not one eon, not two eons. Countless Buddhas for countless eons reflected and thought and cautioned and tried to find out what is it that is most useful for everybody. And through that cautioning and research, they said it is bodhicitta. Kewa tumar rabgung zebai tuan namji dingi pembersik. Kewa tumar sanje mangbo ki gungbo korna samlotane. Tuan namji dingi pembersik. Chanju sim dingi pembersik. You can see how powerful this statement is. Countless Buddhas contemplated and thought for countless eons. What is it that is most beneficial and useful for the suffering sentient being? They said bodhicitta. And bodhicitta means an altruistic attention, aspiring that may I become Buddha, not just for myself, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. Why you need to become a Buddha? Because it's only by becoming a Buddha that you will be able to guide them. Sentient beings are not suffering due to shortage of money or food and things like that. We do have people who suffer from this, but primarily sentient beings are not suffering because of shortage of material facilities. But they are suffering because of mental poverty. Not knowing what is the right thing to do. Not knowing what is it that they should shun and avoid. So therefore the Buddha found that it's only by becoming completely enlightened that you will be able to guide them. That look, you do this, don't do this. Temporarily you don't do this. Long term you don't do this. Temporarily you do this. Long term you do this. So what sentient beings need is guidance, because they are all suffering from the chronic illness of ignorance, which is not just lack of knowledge, but misconception of reality. But misconception of reality. Not just lack of knowledge, but misconception of reality. There are a lot of space here. You can come up. You can come up, bring your seat and come up, some of you. Yeah, why not? So cultivating proper mental outlook. In connection with the way things are, in connection with the reality. That is the savior. That is the one which will save you, which will protect you. Nothing else can protect you. At the end of the day, unfortunately, unless you cultivate that positive mental outlook, unless you become good, even Buddhas cannot save you. That's the reality. Like for example, if Tibet has to exist, and the Tibetans have to survive, Tibetans have to work hard. There may be some people, very famous people, saying good things about Tibet, giving a little bit of donations here and there. All these things can happen. But that's not the ultimate solution. That's not the ultimate solution. The ultimate solution has to come from Tibet, from the Tibetan people, by economically becoming sound, educationally becoming enlightened. That's the solution. And that solution will not come just by making few slogans, in the case of Tibet, for example. Similarly, in our own personal case or familial case also, just by making some slogan will not solve the problem. That's the bitter truth. Karva Sach. That's the bitter truth. But when it comes to changing your mental outlook, you cannot do it in one day. These days, the market is flooding with books with tips, You follow these 5 tips to happiness. 5 tips to happiness. And now some people, they are selling books saying that 5-week meditation for Nirvana. It is there. And there are people who are attending those workshops, you see. But again, the bitter truth is there is no such push-button enlightenment. There is no magic wand which you can move and then get rid of all the sufferings and problems. Because if you look carefully with your actual state of the mind, it is so conditioned by wrong ways of thinking, negative ways of thinking. It's completely conditioned. And it will take time to get out from that negative habit, negative condition, and to make your mind habituated with the positive emotions. It will take time, naturally. Like, for example, when you go to school, don't know ABCD or whatever, How many years you took? Studied from primary, kindergarten, whatever, then up to PhD, whatever. How many years? And here we are talking about becoming Buddha, enlightened. Naturally, it will take time. But still, there is no need to get scared thinking that, it will take several eons for nirvana, several eons to enlightenment, therefore I give up. It's wrong. It's wrong to think like that. What is important is each and every hour or minute that you live, if you make that individual time happy, peaceful, meaningful. You are making your life meaningful, and you are approaching closer and closer to Nirvana enlightenment. You have already started walking. Don't worry about the destination, when you are going to reach. That is not important, because even after you become Buddha, the work you need to do is to help other sentient beings, which you can start right now. Even after you become Buddha, the job of a Buddha is to continuously help other sentient beings, which you can do right now. Of course, your way of doing it is limited, maybe contaminated, so that is the difference. But otherwise, you can do it right now. So that is the meaning of life. Doing something positive, constructive to make other people really happy. That's the purpose. The purpose of life is not money. Purpose of life is not food. And particularly if you think about distinguishing ourselves from animals, human beings have this great brain, big head. And our head is so big that a child takes at least 6 months to lift his head. Other animals, they just immediately after the birth, they start walking, you see. But the human beings, they take at least 6 months to just lift the head. So you are given such a big head, big brain. And why you have that big brain? That big brain is for thinking. For analyzing what is right, what is wrong, what is good for me temporarily, what is good for me in the long run. It's for judgment. Now if you don't use this brain, don't use this intelligence, and live like other animals, it's a great loss. It's a great missed opportunity. And in fact, it is sad to say that today many people are living like animals. All they do is fighting and killing. Day and night they are thinking about inventing destructive nuclear weapons, smart bombs, smart bullet, whatever they're inventing to kill others. Animals, because they don't have great intelligence, so they are compelled to show their physical strength. So whoever is physically stronger will bully and eat the smaller ones, weaker ones. Now if human beings also do the same thing, and physically we cannot do, physically we are very weak. Our teeth cannot be used to catch and kill other animals. If we try to do it, all our teeth will go out instead of being able to kill anybody. Similarly, our nails, we can't do that. So we use our human intelligence and invent a nuclear bomb, smart bullets, kill others, misusing the intelligence. So therefore, the Buddha clearly said the root of our conflict, confusion, bewilderment is ignorance. And ignorance primarily means not just lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge is one kind of ignorance, but it primarily is talking about misconception of reality. That's the big problem, misconception of reality. Reality may be something else, but we are seeing the reality in a different way, in the wrong way. Reality, things are changing, but we want to see them as unchanging, permanent. Reality, there is suffering, but we want to only talk about happiness. Reality is that everything is interconnected, but in our daily life we will think, oh, I can manage. I am somebody. I can alone, especially when you have some name, some fame, a little bit of money, then you think, I can manage. You recall the need of other people only when you start suffering. When you are sick, when you are vulnerable, when you are weak, then you think about other people, you see. Look at the beggars, because they are vulnerable, they are weak, they are always smiling because they need the help of others. Guruji, like that, with a lot of respect. But others who are a little bit better off, they'll go like this. That's wrong. That's wrong, absolutely wrong. Because you are forgetting the reality, how vulnerable you are, how weak you are. And I have witnessed this several times in my life. I'll tell you a few, and you have experienced that also. But why I'm giving this kind of example is so that you are able to relate your experience to the actual Dharma. Like for example, when you fly in an aeroplane, check in at the airport, then fly in an aeroplane. Everybody thinks that I'm somebody. At the most you will say, "Hi, good morning." You take your seat, he takes his seat, he takes her seat, and things like that. Okay, everybody really is somebody. Not so interested to, smile or talk to each other. Then there comes an announcement. Very soon we are approaching the zone of turbulence. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly fasten your seat belt. You fasten your seat belt. Then you actually enter into that zone of turbulence. Everybody starts looking towards each other. So that's what Buddha is saying, that do not turn a blind eye against the reality, because reality will stare, starkly, clearly on your face sooner or later. You cannot escape the reality. And I experienced this several times. Once I was staying in London with His Holiness. We were staying in, I think probably a good hotel, 5-star hotel or something. So my room was on 22nd floor. Around 2 p.m. in the night, there was a siren. And with that siren, everybody so scared that everybody, within few seconds or minutes, they were all down on the lobby, outside the lobby actually. Most people just have, if they are able to pull a towel or whatever they tied, and they were the same experience. When you checked in the hotel, everybody was somebody. I don't want to talk to this fellow. But then the reality put everybody together. No need any kind of introduction. Everybody was so nice and talking to each other, you see. That's the thing. That is what the Buddha is saying. That is what the Buddha is saying. That is what His Holiness Dalai Lama is saying repeatedly. That very often His Holiness Dalai Lama says, I don't need much introduction. I know you are a human being. You may be speaking slightly different language. Your face may look slightly different, but same emotion, same need for happiness, same need to shun suffering. So if you understand that sameness, and particularly whenever you meet somebody, if you are able to understand the fact that this person, whoever he is, one day going to die, one day going to get some problem, difficulties, then even if the person tries to be very arrogant, still you will develop that compassion. And His Holiness always says that the kind of compassion that we ordinarily develop is biased, because we develop kind of compassion to the very poor beggars and things like that. But as soon as we see somebody who is well off, a Hollywood actor, actress, a Bollywood actor, actress, a famous politician, wow, how nice if I also become like this. At least I should get his signature. There's no sign and no trace of compassion at all to these people. Either we'll develop jealous, or we will aspire that, how nice if I also become like that. Not knowing that this person is also in the samsara. This person also has so many other sufferings. You see. So aspire such a life. So He's always said, if you look carefully, some of these so-called famous people actually are more worthy of compassion than the poor beggars. The poor beggars are poor in terms of material shortage. But in terms of other negative emotions, they may be better because they are already down. So they have less jealousy, less competition, things like that. The so-called great people, they have so much competitiveness, jealousy, hatred, arrogance, and so forth. So there's the thing. And He's always sometimes he says, sometimes if you see an earthworm, actually from one angle you should prostrate to the earthworm. Because this earthworm which is wriggling on the ground, quite helpless, very helpless. But from one angle, This earthworm is very helpless and in a very poor situation. But this earthworm is not doing any harm to anybody. In fact, now there are earthworm farms where they make the soil fertile. People are again using earthworms. You see, whereas look at us. You see, so many negative emotions. So many negative emotions. So therefore, unless we systematically think, it is not possible to transform this mental attitude. It will take time. But the good thing, the good news with this mental transformation is that if you convince the mind about the usefulness of certain practices, then the mind will gradually accept it. You cannot force the mind. You can force your body. If somebody is not obeying what you say, you can imprison that person physically. Lock him out. That's what the Chinese do or what many other countries do. Physically you can be imprisoned. But mind, nobody can imprison it. So therefore the only way to transform and change the mind is not through using force, but by explaining the reality with sound reasons. So therefore it is important to understand the reality, the facts. So once you understand the reality and the fact, then you can really create magic and mystery. Magic and mystery, I'm saying. You might think, how can we do that? Magic and mystery means if you used to be a very angry person, now with this kind of knowledge and understanding, if you become a very compassionate person with no anger or not much anger, that is magic. There cannot be a better magic than this one. Whenever we think about magic and mystery, we think about opening a third eye here or flying in the space. This is nothing. If you are able to fly, so what? The birds are flying already. The aeroplanes are flying already. You see. And in fact, human beings are in many levels imitating the animals. Much of the things that we do today is imitation to the animals physically. Like in the fashion show, you have the catwalk. Catwalk. Catwalk means imitating the style of walking of a cat. So many things I can talk, things like that. So which is okay if you have fun and it's not harming anybody. But that is not the area where you show your human excellence, you see. I very well remember 2008 Olympic competition in Beijing. There was a gentleman who won several gold medals in swimming. Then I said, oh, very good, he got so many gold medals, but he cannot swim better than a fish. So that's not an area where human beings should show their excellence. The human beings should show their excellence by fine-tuning this mind, mental attitude. Like cultivation of bodhicitta, compassion. No animals can do it. Only human beings can do it. So therefore His Holiness is working so tirelessly, telling everybody about human ethics, human morality, and bodhicitta. Whenever he talks about bodhicitta, he really, very often tears come in his eyes. Because he knows the helpless situation of all these sentient beings. But still, we do not know where we are going, we are just... The epithet that is given to the Buddha is the fully awakened one. Sang ye, nyomo benyile sang, shijalo je, the fully awakened one, fully awake. Which also implies that we are not awake, we are sleeping. Sleeping in ignorance. And because of our deep sleep in ignorance, we are doing all the wrong things. Still we do not know. So therefore, we should consider ourselves extremely lucky to have access to such wonderful teachings. You can clearly see that this is a teaching through which you can really open the inner door for long-lasting peace and happiness. A teaching which can make your life meaningful. Okay? So therefore, whether you study about Tara or Avalokiteshvara or Buddha or so many things are there, but the crux of the matter, the essence is fight against negative emotions. Fight against negative emotions. So there is no need for you to get lost in complicated meditations and things like that. If you are unable to do that, that's fine. But the focus is deal with these negative emotions. If you read all the teachings of the great Kadamba masters, the mind training teachers, their focus is how to fight against these negative emotions. One of the Kadamba teacher, he says, I have only one Dharma practice, and that Dharma practice is a very useful Dharma practice. That means training the mind. Another teacher, he says, I have only one work, one job, and that one job is to hold the spear of positive antidote and see whether negative emotions are coming or not. If they are coming, I will use my spear and kill them. If they are not coming, I will relax. Only one job. Another Kadamba teacher says, even if the negative emotions are so strong, he personifies these negative emotions and says that even if these negative emotions are so strong that they throw me down. They throw me down, and the negative emotion, the weight of the negative emotions on me, just like a person, I'm thrown down and helpless. There's nothing much I can do. So even if it is the only thing I can do is to scratch his face or something, I'll do that. I'll not submit to his bully. That's how they deal with this negative. So if you read this Shantideva's Bodhicharya, please do read. Buy one copy of Shantideva's Bodhicharya Avtara. Start reading it. Luckily there are so many good commentaries. English commentaries are also there. But there are so many, at least 20, 30. Shantideva's Bodhicharya Avtara has actually more than 100 commentaries in Tibet. But at least in exile, there are more than 20 commentaries are available. So start reading those. Start reading those. Not just for the sake of reading and getting knowledge, but to gradually bring about some transformation, some change. It will take time, but it will make difference. So that is the way. That's the way. Negative emotions. Nyomo segura, nyomo. Nyomo means nyomo barchige, dunge tegen segura. Nyomo barchige. For the Tibetan word nyomo, we use the word afflictive emotion, an emotion which when arises in your mind, makes your whole being disturbed, turbulent, agitated, and unhappy. There's the work of these negative emotions. There's no other work. Okay. So therefore, when we read this commentary on the 21 Taras also, the focus should be how to get rid of these negative emotions, how to reduce the impact and intensity of this negative emotion. That should be the focus. And if you do that, you will shine out. I'm telling you, you will shine out. You will achieve success in your material wealth. You will achieve success in your health. I'm telling you, this is important, because sometimes people, when we don't realize this immediate effects of this practice, they might think, oh, the target of this practice is to achieve nirvana and enlightenment. Nirvana and enlightenment, there's no sign at all. So I give up. Many people think like that. Therefore, you need to know that by this practice, you will become happier right from the day when you start practicing. For example, even if you're doing like 10 minutes prayer, during the 10-minute prayer, you're much more peaceful, much more calm, much more happier, So there's the example. That's very important. And most of us are very fond of decorating, cosmetics and, whatever, to look handsome, to look beautiful. But the real beauty, the real handsomeness comes when your inner positive emotions are good. When you are calm, you are peaceful, then you can smile. When you smile and show your teeth, you look beautiful, you look handsome. When you don't have these inner qualities and unhappy, then decorate yourself with a lot of things. Like, for example, gold earrings and so many things, and then get angry, I'm really trying to talk about the real things, Look at the Buddha's face, Buddha's image. Forget about gold necklaces or earrings and things like that. He has even shaved his hair. But Buddha's image looks so beautiful or handsome. With a gentle smile. His eyes, the way his eye looks at other people is different. Peaceful, Peace is there in the eye. Smile is there. Look at His Holiness. Living reality. Just by seeing us, everybody feels happy. Why? Because he has been living and practicing these qualities. And it is radiating. You see. The ordinary decorations and ornaments, even if they look nice, then again there is a risk of the thief might, take that away. The robber might steal that away. It's happened many times. You see. So the one wealth, the real wealth, which no thieves can steal, no robbers can rob, which will not become excess baggage, is the inner qualities. If you have this real inner qualities, you will be welcomed everywhere. You will be able to look after yourself. So there's no excess baggage. The ordinary wealth, even in terms of our traveling, when Tibetans, when they travel, they make sure that their bag is full. Sometimes I jokingly tell people, when Tibetans travel, they will start from the first, station to the last station, no stop in between. Then the bags they carry are full, so that they can hardly pull the zip. So when you fly in aeroplane, if you carry more than the limit permitted, kg, then they'll say, "Madam, sorry, excess baggage." It was very telling for me when I experienced that at the airport. When you carry more than the permitted kilo, they'll say, "Sorry, excess baggage." Buddha actually gave that same message. If you hoarding too many wealth, it's excess baggage. You cannot take them. When you die, they're all excess baggage. You cannot take anything when you die. Even when you live, when you travel, you can't take all this wealth wherever you go. Because you have accumulated so much over the years, you can't take all those wherever. You cannot say, "Now I'm traveling, I'll take all my relatives with me, I'll take the house and everything with me." You cannot say, you see. So you cannot have all these things with you. But one thing that you can have with you is your knowledge, your education, your inner qualities. So those inner qualities are, in the true sense of the term, your real teacher, your reliable friend, and reliable relatives, reliable possession. There's the reality, you see. So that's why Buddha was emphasizing so much about the inner transformation. So when we read this text, we should focus on this inner transformation. So we'll read quickly because the text is there. From your sublime abode at the Potala, O Tara, born from the green letter term, your crown adorned with Amitabha, action mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times, Tara, please come with your attendants. So this is invocation. Actually, in the this one and the next verse, these 2 verses are actually not a part of the actual text of the 21 Taras. They are later on added by someone else, translator or somebody added it. Okay. And then also later on you will find that Om Jisima Pangodo Malachasolo. Some scholars say it is a part of the main text that is found in the Tantra. Some say it is not there. Anyway, the first verse is invocation. From your sublime abode at the Potala. Podalai Nechone. Tamik Janku Le Tungsing. You are born from the later Tam. Your crown adorned with Amitabha. Because both Avalokiteshvara and Tara also has this Amitabha Buddha at their crown to symbolize that Amitabha Buddha is always there with them in helping them in their task of alleviating the sufferings of other sentient beings. Action mother. So I like this word, action mother. Because most of us are talkers. We are not doers. So of late I've been constantly telling people, not just talk, do. Very often we tell people, I have this plan, that idea, this. You have 100,000 ideas, but never implemented one idea. So people will judge you what you have done. They cannot and they will not judge you what you are thinking. The world will see how the Tibetans are doing. They will not see what the Tibetans are thinking. So if we want to prove our capacity, our efficiency, we need to show it by doing. So that's why I like this. Action mother. Action mother. Because Tara symbolizes energy. That's why anybody who prays to the Tara, there is quick kind of possibilities of getting the blessing of the Tara. Action mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times. Tara, please come with your attendants. So Tara, please come with your attendants. Sometimes they say the Tara here refers primarily to the green Tara. So sometimes you have this painting, green Tara surrounded by other 21 Taras. So in this case, sometimes the green Tara and other 21 Taras are seen as separate. But many teachers, they say all these 21 Taras are simply the manifestation of the green Tara. So therefore, green Tara is the main Tara. Then having invited them, you do the prostration, Cha Salva. The gods and demigods bow to your lotus feet. Hladang Lami, Rwa, Hladang Lami Duzuki, Konzuki, Crown, Jorwa Chobi, Tima Kuku Sene, and Jizundome Shabji Pemola Tujing. Pongba Kunle Dronzema, you who rescue all who are destitute. Pongba, those who are deprived, those who are in need of many things. So you are the one who will rescue you from all those deprivations. To you, Mother Tara, I pay homage. So if you read the story of the Tara, there's one line somewhere. Anyway, so Tara, when she was the princess of a great king, countless eons before, she made this promise that there are so many who aspire to get enlightened in the form of a male. So I will get enlightened in the form of a female, the form of a woman. So with that promise, it is said that she become what she is. Okay? So which is also very good in today's time, when people talk so much about the equality of men and women. So we have a classic example here, that in the Buddhist practice, we have such female Buddhas. Chak sal. Chak, Tibetan word chak means to chakma chak, to sweep. Sal means to take, to receive. Salva, nangwa. Nge chagi ngalachik nangro chesegor. Kari chagi, what are you going to sweep? I'm going to sweep all my negative emotions. I'm going to sweep, clean all the negative emotions which are like dust within me. And having done that, I'm completely empty. And I don't want to remain empty. I also want to receive your blessings, your qualities. Rangi jugi nyomola sobe. Ta kinying sobe dije sama par chane ene sanji ke kusung tu ki yonde sama ngala nangrona sal shuguyos. That's the meaning. Chao sal. So paying homage. There is a very beautiful write-up by Sajja Pandita, where he says that having made homage to the 3 sublime beings, the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, may all sentient beings be freed from obscurations and negative deeds. And then he explains the prostration. He says, when I fold my hands together, may I be able to actualize that state of unity of method and wisdom. When you hold your two hands together, you are saying that may I actualize that state of unification of method and wisdom. That means good heart and good head, compassion and wisdom. When you fold your hands together. When I put this folded hand on my crown, may I be able to travel to the land of dakas and dakinis, the highest land, which is none above. And with this folded hand, when I bring it to the level of my mid-eyebrow, may I be able to purify all my physical stains, physical impurities. When I put this folded hand at my throat, may I be able to purify all the stains of my speech. When I place this folded hand at my heart, may I be able to purify all the mental obscurations and negativities. When I separate these hands, when I separate these two hands, may I be able to actualize the two bodies of the Buddha, the form body and the truth body. And with these two bodies of the Buddha, may I be able to fulfill the wishes of all sentient beings. You do like this, then you like this. Rawa dukshi any lakwa dukshi rawa kagachi suna adi kunyi sugiyoris. And when you bow down and place two knees on the ground, may I be able to get liberated from the negative state of existence within the samsara. And when I place my 10 fingers on the ground, may I be able to gradually actualize the 10 grounds and the 5 paths. 10 grounds and the 5 paths. And when I place the forehead of my body to the ground, may I be able to actualize the 11th ground, which is called thoroughly illuminating ground. So in this way, when I use these 5 limbs of the body, withdrawing and outstretching, may I be able to engage in the 4 sublime activities, spontaneous sublime activities. And through this kind of prostration, stretching and withdrawing, I'm stretching my nerves and tendons. So through this way, may I be able to unknot the knots that's there on the channels. And when you bow down, your backbone, sometimes you have to straighten it, sometimes you have to bend it. Through this way, may I be able to bring all the energy into the central channel. And having touched the ground, when I get up, this symbolizes that I will not stay in the samsara, but I'll get up and go to nirvana. And in this way, when I repeatedly do that prostration, not just 1 time, 2 times, but many times, through that way, may I never stay in the solitary peace of nirvana just for myself, but may I be able to liberate sentient beings continuously. So through this kind of prostration, having offered this kind of prostration, temporarily may I have a long life, free from illness and sickness. And at the time of the death, may I be able to born in the land of bliss, Sukhavati, Devachi. And then gradually may I be able to actualize the complete state of Buddhahood. So this is a beautiful description of the prostration given by Sacha Pandita. So I wanted to read this. Chaksal. So prostration, chaksal can be physical prostration, mental prostration, and verbal prostration. So I have explained to you the physical prostration. So when you do the physical prostration or paying homage, Mentally you should sing the praises and think about it. And verbally you recite the verse. So out of these three types of paying homage, physical, verbal and mental, again the most important thing is mental. Because normally we pay the physical homage or do the physical prostration to impress other people. Because you feel like doing those things, like going around the temple or doing some prostration because other people are watching you. So you feel like doing it. Oh, I'm doing, So there is some kind of instinct there. When you need to do a mental practice, nobody knows what you're doing. So you don't feel like doing it, you see. So you can clearly see that even the so-called dharma practice that we do is for advertisement, you see. So it is very, very important to do it quietly, as much as possible. Because other people may not be watching you, but Buddha is watching you, Bodhisattvas are watching you. And what is really important is not whether somebody is watching you or not. But you are doing the real stuff, transformation of your mind. And especially, these days people talk so much about the importance of meditation. So much talk about importance of meditation. But most of us don't meditate or don't want to know what meditation is. So I want to urge you that even if you don't know the process of meditation right now, the first thing that you should do right in the morning when you get up is just get up and then appreciate that you are not dead, you're awake, not as a dog, not as a cow, but as a precious human being. Thank God, I'm so lucky. Again I have a day to do good things. See? So appreciate that. That will fill your mind with peace and happiness. I am so lucky. I cannot complain. Look at this. My eyes are intact, my hands are intact, my legs are intact. There are hundreds and millions of people who have lost their eyes, lost their legs, lost their hands, you see. So it's important to appreciate what you have, not always sitting there complaining what you don't have. Oh, I wish I am a millionaire, or I wish I am a billionaire. Oh, this person went to America, I could not go to America. Why you need to do everything that other people do? It's really, really important to appreciate what you have. I'm not saying that you just get stuck there appreciating what you have and not making any effort. I'm not saying that. You should always make effort. But the grounding for making that effort is first you should appreciate your capacity. That you are a lucky person, you see. Then you sit for a few minutes and think, okay, whatever I'm going to do today, I'm going to do that given job, but with a wish to help many people. So this is like recharging the battery. Before you go into the darkness, you need to charge the battery. If you remember the battery only when you are already in the darkness, then you will not get the needed light. So you need to charge the battery. Because very soon you are going to walk with other people. Some people may be very annoying, you see. So charge that battery. Make a good motivation. Remember Buddha, remember His holiness. Remember that you got this precious human life. You are not a dog. Some people come to me and ask me, Geshe, can you please teach me meditation? I sometimes provoke them by saying, you want to do some meditation? It's very simple. You meditate that you are not a human being, but you are a dog. For half a day, you imagine that you are a dog. Then you will get some idea what human being is. You imagine and think and try to live as if you are a dog. Where are you going to have your breakfast? Where are you going to take rest? Where are you going to sleep? Things like that, you see. They are in a very difficult situation. Nobody to complain to. Where is their hospital for them? Human beings need so much. We need hospitals, all kind of medicines. Especially in the so-called developed countries. I don't know how many tablets they pop in every day. Multivitamin of all sorts, for the eye, for the knee, for the lung. Recently when I was in Emory University, I was asked to give a talk And really told them, do you really think you need all these tablets every day? So they were saying, maybe Geshe, we don't need all of this, you see. So that's the thing. Human beings need so much. The birds, the dogs, where are their facilities? What is the education system? Where is the medical hospital, you see? So many. So I'm not saying that we should live like animals and birds, but there's a lot of things we can learn from them. So much of the problem we have is because of dissatisfaction, greed. Mahatma Gandhi said there's enough for everybody's need, but not enough for everybody's greed. The king has all the kingdom at his disposal, but still feels he's a beggar, you see. The poor beggar has only a walking stick, but he's singing there, you see, happy, you see. Okay, so my main point is that we need to relate the Dharma teaching in our actual experience, in our daily life. So right in the morning you cultivate this motivation. Then at the close of the day, you reflect back how you fared. Whether you are able to live as you had promised or not. If you could not, then you should regret, oh, I could not live up to my promise, but I will definitely change and make an attempt tomorrow again. Tomorrow also you might fail. But repeatedly you will be able to do those practices. So that's the only way. Morning you charge the battery, make a positive motivation. In the evening before you sleep, reflect back and thank Buddha, Bodhisattvas and whoever that I really had a meaningful life, and be happy. And with that your sleep will be peaceful, no nightmare. So instead of that, if you just before sleeping, if you watch a horror movie, that's what we do, then you get nightmare. Okay?